Hey everyone, Jenna Mike here, and I'm back with another video. Today I'm reviewing the new film We Live in Time, starring Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh. The film goes as follows. Almut and Tobias are brought together by a surprise encounter that changes their lives. As they embark on a path that challenges them by the limits of time, they learn to cherish each moment of their unconventional love story. This film was released in October 18th, and I believe this film came out October 18th, and it was directed by John Crowley. And I can say that I really enjoy this film again with the leads of Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh. I was very excited to see this film, and I feel with these types of stories again definitely can take you on an emotional level of a love story, but also just a story about life and cherishing life. And this film does that. Again, this film tells the story how these two people meet, Tobias and Almut, played by Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh, how they get together, how they fall in love, and they get married and have a child and stuff, and see how their life plays out when life situations come out and all cylinders and everything, how they go through that. But this film is structured in a non-linear way in terms of just going back in different points in their lives. And I felt, unfortunately, that they could have done a better job in terms of making those moments impactful. But at the same time, what the subject matter they're doing with here, it almost kind of let it speak for itself in terms of how from an emotional level that they want the audience to resonate with this, because you go through this film is in the trailer, that there's a point in their lives that Ahmed, Florence Pugh's character, has cancer, and how that changes their dynamic and their relationship with Tobias and everything, with Andrew Garfield's character. And anybody who has a history with cancer, has family with cancer, we've all been impacted by that in some form or fashion. And again, it's an emotional level, it's a heavy topic, and sometimes they usually let that play for itself and see how you able to center a story around that. But his story wasn't just about her cancer. It was about how they fall in love, their relationship dynamic, her dreams and her aspirations with Amit. Her being I want to be a culinary chef, and continuing to doing that. But also where Tobias, he wants to, he falls in love with this woman, but he wants to have a family, he wants to have children, and how that dynamic, shifts in terms of their relationship. But I felt, as someone who is married, we've been married for about a year now, and I can definitely see, me and my wife, when we watch this, can relate to this in the very different forms and fashions of especially the dialogue between each other and stuff. And again, Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield, they have amazing chemistry, but they're just by themselves, they're just phenomenal actors. But when they're put together, again, they are a force to be reckoned with, honestly. And I would love to see more films with them, with each other. But I also know this film was the first time, I think, for both of them, they can just use their regular accents as well. So I think that was I remember they were mentioning that in some interviews. But yeah, this film definitely gives a vibe of also another film about time with Rachel McAdams and Domhnall Gleeson. But We Live in Time definitely talks about, again, cherishing those moments, even when you're going through hard times, when you're going through falling in love with someone, receive some terrible news, having your dreams and aspirations, and even with the midst of hardship, to still persevere through that. And how also to rely on your partner, rely in terms of your loved ones in those situations too. And maybe sometimes the best time to actually dive in those conversations is also remember how far you came, and reflecting previous conversations you've had with each other as partners and stuff. And I felt that with this film, We Live in Time, if anybody who is married or in a relationship, whatever, you can definitely relate to this. But how this film turns to give this more non-linear form of storytelling, it was a little bit, I won't say difficult to kind of like to digest in moments, because I'm just following the story along. But then at the same time, it's like, it's the emotional moments hit, and they do hit, and they do deliver. But I just wish it was kind of more structured in a more cohesive way, to actually kind of be a more complete package. Because then the ending of this film definitely lead to it's implied of what happens to one character in this movie, but at the same time, it still kind of wraps up this story, again, in terms of to the title, we live in time, cherishing loved ones, cherishing the moments that you have with each other through difficult times, and also through moving on through the course of life, right? And I feel there's very few films, that deal with this, especially that involves cancer. Like obviously, off like The Fault in Our Stars, another one I remember years ago when I watched that film. But another film, again, I just kind of reminded of this. Really is About Time with Rachel McAdams and Domhnall Gleeson. That was one of my favorite films of all time. But this film definitely hits on those themes in terms, again, their relationship dynamic, going through life, having a child, dealing with pregnancy and everything, dealing with receiving terrible medical news and stuff, but how to operate that as a parent, as a husband, as a wife, but at the same time being there for each other when these times get tough. Those moments I feel were highlighted strong in this film, but definitely in the script. And you get other supporting characters too that go through the course of life. And this is definitely the good date movie. If you want to watch this film with your partner, go ahead and check it out by A24. But I definitely, the strongest point of this film is the chemistry between Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield. They definitely deliver in this, and I was pleasantly entertained, but in terms of receiving their performance in this film. But that concludes my review of We Live in Time. I think it's still in theaters right now, so make sure you guys go check it out. But also it's made by A24. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.